Today I learned that Genghis Khan would marry off a daughter to the king of an allied nation. Then he would assign his new son-in-law to military duty in the Mongol Wars. While his daughter took over the rule, most of the son-in-laws died in combat, giving his daughters complete control of these nations. Today I learned that after Colonel Shaw died in battle, Confederates buried him in a mass grave as an insult for leading black soldiers. Union troops tried to recover his body, but his father sent a letter saying, "We would not have his body removed from where it lies, surrounded by his brave and devoted soldiers." Today I learned that the Animal Planet reality series River Monsters ended because star Jeremy Wade was able to catch essentially every exceptionally large freshwater fish species on Earth, leaving no remaining content for the show. Today I learned that actor Robert Pattinson dealt with an obsessed fan who had been camping outside his apartment by taking her out on a dinner date. "I just complained about everything in my life, and she never came back." Today I learned that the cast of Friends each made $1 million per episode in the final 2 seasons, and now make $20 million per year per cast member for the reruns. The show still generates $1 billion a year for Warner Brothers, all thanks to David Schwimmer encouraging the cast to negotiate as a team. Today I learned a waitress was tipped by a lottery ticket and won $10 million. She was then sued by her colleagues for their share. When she was sued by the man who tipped her the ticket, she then was kidnapped by her ex-husband, who she ended up shooting in the chest. Then she went to court against the IRS. Today I learned that Romans were known to create tombs for their dogs and gave them epitaphs to remember them by. One such inscription read, "I am in tears while carrying you to your last resting place, as much as I rejoiced when bringing you home with my own hands 15 years ago." Today I learned that in 1959, police were called to a segregated library in South Carolina when a 9-year-old black boy refused to leave. He later got a PhD in physics from MIT and died in 1986, one of the astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger. The library that refused to lend him the books is now named after him. Today I learned that Microsoft tried a 4-day work week in Japan as part of a work-life choice challenge by shutting down the offices every Friday. Productivity measured by sales per employee increased by almost 40% compared to the same period the previous year. Today I learned that William Whipple, one of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, freed his slave after signing it because he believed that one cannot simultaneously fight for freedom and hold another person in bondage. Today I learned that a Japanese company has awarded its non-smoking employees 6 extra vacation days to compensate for the smokers' breaks. Today I learned that many doctors have stopped calling cancer treatment a fight or battle. They argue that these terms misrepresent how treatment works, and if treatments fail, the patient is left with a sense of guilt and a false belief that they didn't fight hard enough. Today I learned that Billy Joel never sells front row seats in order to see the real fans right in front of him. He gives them away to random people in cheap seats so that front row isn't always just a bunch of wealthy people. Today I learned that Willie, a parrot, alerted its owner, Megan Howard, when the toddler she was babysitting began to choke. Megan was in the bathroom. The parrot began screaming, "Mama, baby," while flapping its wings as the child turned blue. Megan rushed over and performed the Heimlich maneuver, saving the girl's life. Today I learned that Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't allowed to dub his own role in Terminator in German, as his accent is considered very rural by German-Austrian standards, and it would be too ridiculous to have a death machine from the future come back in time to sound like a hillbilly. Today I learned that Carrie Fisher delivered a cow tongue inside of a Tiffany box to a predatory producer who had assaulted her friend. She said the next delivery will be something of yours in a much smaller box. Today I learned that everyone in Singapore above the age of 21 is automatically registered as an organ donor. Opting out from this act will result in you being put at the very bottom of the organ priority list, should you ever need an organ transplant. Today I learned of Syndrome K, a fake disease that Italian doctors made up to save Jews who had fled their hospitals seeking protection from the Nazis. Syndrome K patients were quarantined, and the Nazis were told that it was a deadly, disfiguring, and highly contagious illness. They saved at least 20 lives. Today I learned that military grade is just a marketing ploy. In the actual military grade means meeting the bare minimum requirements of durability while also costing the least. Today I learned there was an early 1900s act named Sober Sue, whose draw was she never smiled. A theater offered $1,000 to anyone who could make her laugh, attracting big comedians. Crowds came out to watch them try and fail, giving them a free show. Later it came out that Sue suffered from facial paralysis. Today I learned that a 13-year-old boy opened a hot dog stand in front of his home in Minnesota, causing a complaint to the health department. Instead of shutting him down, the inspectors helped him bring his stand up to code and paid the $87 fee for his permit out of their own pockets. Today I learned that a man created a fake restaurant on TripAdvisor and asked around for good reviews. Eventually, the fake restaurant was the #1 restaurant in London and was being called up hundreds of times a day for bookings. For a day, the man set up a cafe in his backyard and served frozen food to rave reviews. Today I learned that hundreds of love letters between 2 gay World War II soldiers were found and are being made into a book. In one of them wrote, "Wouldn't it be wonderful if all of our letters could be published in the future in a more enlightened time? Then all the world could see how in love we are." Today I learned that Kate Winslet keeps her Oscar in the bathroom so her guests can hold it and make acceptance speeches in the mirror without feeling self-conscious. Today I learned that some farmers in Bangladesh have switched to raising ducks instead of chickens because during catastrophic floods, unlike chickens, ducks can float. Today I learned that an actor in Nazi Germany lost his job for being Jewish. He went to the Alps, grew a beard, and dyed all of his hair by bathing in diluted hydrogen peroxide. He returned to the stage claiming to be a self-taught peasant actor and was praised by the Nazis as proof of the superiority of the Aryan blood. Today I learned that Michael Jordan once tipped a waitress a $5 chip for bringing him a drink. Wayne Gretzky stopped the waitress, removed the $5 chip, grabbed one of the many $100 chips on Jordan's side of the table, and gave it to her. Then he said, "That's how we tip in Las Vegas, Michael." Today I learned that Dr. Phil lost his license to practice psychology in 2006. Therefore, all guests on his TV show must sign a contract stating that they are only there to receive advice from an individual, not a licensed psychologist. Today I learned that a school principal once made a student who had gotten into trouble sit in the basement and read the U.S. Constitution as punishment. That student, who committed the Constitution to memory as a result, was Thurgood Marshall, who went on to become the first Black Supreme Court Justice. Today I learned that Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak has disdain for money and large wealth accumulation. In 2017, he said he didn't want to be near money because it would corrupt your values. When Apple went public, Wozniak offered $10 million of his stock to early Apple employees, something Jobs refused to do. Today I learned that when filming the TV series The Mandalorian in 2019, the crew ran out of stormtrooper costumes, so they reached out to the local branch of a Star Wars fan organization, whose members came to join the filming in their own homemade stormtrooper costumes. Thanks for joining us, and if you'd like to see more, please hit like and subscribe.